Now it's time for me to teach you how to create shadow puppets on your own. Now, there are lots of different ways to create shadow puppets, and I'm going to share a few of them with you today. The simplest way for the youngest of children would be to gather shapes together like circles, ovals, squares, and triangles, and then have your child arrange them on the table in front of them, and when they come up with a design that they're happy with, you tape the pieces together in that pattern, and then you attach a popsicle stick to them, and you come up with puppets like caterpillars and ice cream cones. Another way of creating shadow puppets is through drawing. So what you want to do first with this method is to take a white piece of paper and ideally sketch the shape that you're trying to create. In this case, a fish. Next, you want to draw a more formal design on a darkened piece of paper. And I used a white charcoal pencil for this, but a regular pencil will work fine as well. Then you cut out the outline of your shape, and last but not least, you attach a rod using a piece of tape, and you have your very own shadow puppet. It doesn't really matter which side of the puppet the rod is on, because behind the shadow screen, all you see is the silhouette. Now, if you'd like to create a puppet with more detail, very similar to the process before, you draw the outline first, but then you can draw some inner details inside of the puppet. Next step would be to draw the design on a darkened piece of paper. Next, you cut out the outline of the puppet as before, but then you cut out the inner details. And a way of doing that is, if you have symmetrical designs within your puppet, if you fold along the axis of symmetry, when you cut out half the design, you'll actually be cutting out the whole design, like this. The final step for this, again, take a rod, tape it to your puppet, and you have your very own shadow puppet, which can go this way or that way. Another method of creating shadow puppets is through templates. And if you visit my website, you'll find some templates. For example, here are some templates from an Aesop's fable. Now, to create shadow puppets using templates, simply attach the template sheet to a dark piece of paper, and when you cut out the outlines of your templates, you'll actually be cutting out the shadow puppet at the same time. Final step is to attach the rods, and voila, you have your very own shadow puppets created using templates that Firelight has provided. Let's take a moment to talk about shadow puppetry screens. There are many different options to consider. One might be the screen that I performed with today for the shows that you saw. More information on this screen can be found on my website. Another option, a very simple option, would be to simply tape a piece of white paper to the front of a table. Then, when you go under the table with a flashlight, you have the perfect shadow puppetry screen. A third option would be to get a cereal box from your house and to then simply cut a rectangle, leaving about 1 inch on every side. Cut out the entire back of the box, but make sure to keep the sides for support. And then simply tape a piece of paper for your shadow puppetry screen. So now you know how to make screens as well as puppets. If you visit my website, you'll have access to puppet templates and a script to get you going on your shadow puppetry journey. Good luck.